Okay, what we have today, we've got a 115 horsepower Mercury. It's the Tower of Power 6-cylinder, and this is the top carburetor. I'm going to go through each carburetor individually and clean them, soak them, spray them down with some more carb cleaner, and then blow out all the orifices. I want to check to make sure the dimensions on the needle and seat are okay. If not, adjust them, and just make any adjustments. I want to verify the spring on the float to make sure that the height is correct, because if that spring is affected, then, well, we'll get into that as I go, but I'm going to do each carburetor. There's a top, middle, and bottom, 3 carbs. And again, it's for, I think it's a 1978 horsepower, 115 horsepower Mercury. So if you've never seen one, this is the top carb. This is the front of it. This is what it looks like. Kind of the hoses are all still connected. I just took it apart to make it easier on me to take it apart. Okay. So I think it was coming out of the bowl, but he wanted these rebuilt anyway, or at least gone through and cleaned up. He acquired this boat not too long ago. Got a good deal on it, and it looked really nice. I've got some pictures I'll show you of what the motor looked like, and you can see that next. Okay, there's our float. See, now that the float, this spring has got a critical, I think it's, I'll have to look it up, but I think it's 1/32 of an inch. I don't know if that's going to focus, but that spring definitely, if it's stretched out or too long or too short, it's going to create a problem. It says to replace it. So we'll measure that and make sure it's okay. And of course, we've got our needle and seat, and I'll measure that as well. The distance here between this lower arm and this upper arm is supposed to be 1/4 inch. So if not, then you adjust it based on the tab here, this tab here. You bend that tab to make sure that that you have 1/4 inch between those two levers. And that's pretty much it. But we're gonna get into that. Right now, I want to remove. I think I'm going to leave this together. I've got ties. He did not use the proper zip ties for this either. They're special fuel line zip ties that have a radius carved into the head, where the zip tie will seal that up really well, providing uniform pressure all the way around the union. And these are just regular zip ties, and probably will leak if they didn't already. I mean, they're pretty loose. So I just want to cut this one off. There we go. Gotta be careful though. That one popped. That one's giving me a little more problems, but let me see. Maybe I don't have to take them both off. think I can leave that one on there. Now, take a look at that needle. It don't look bad. I don't see any real wear to it. I'll remove the seat. There we go. Not bad when you got the right tool. It's open. Don't look too bad. There's the seat down in there. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. Well, we'll just clean it up. We'll soak this part of it. Hey, God, the gaskets even look good. But we'll replace those. Take the little rubber hoses off. Now, what I want to do when I do the air mixture screw, this is how the carburetor sits, like this. So you can see the orientation of the mixture screw. It's pointing at about 1 o'clock. So I'm going to lightly seat it and then count the turns. There's a half. There's 1. That would be 1.5, roughly. So that's about right. That's 1.5 turns out from lightly seated is usually where the factory sets them. And that's, boy, that looks nice. Yeah. Just so you can see the needle. Very nice. Okay. We got one more to take out here. This is just a carb screw of some sort. I may have to use a better tool for that to get that out. It's tight and I'm going to deface it. Okay, so what I used was this impact driver set. That's what I was trying to remember. And I was able to get that screw out of there using the driver. Got to be careful. I put it in the vise. I put 2 blocks of wood in between, tightened it down, and I was able to whack the driver and loosen that up. So you really need one of those if you're gonna try to remove stuff that hasn't been removed in years. So anyway, moving on. I think we've got to take out. Got to get this out and this out. I might have to use the impact driver on that. Somebody's been there. You can see that's been chewed a little bit. So maybe these carbs have been gone through before, because that screw has been defaced a little bit. Just an observation. Now I got to get that out of there. Let's see. Yeah, that feels like it's right. Smaller driver. What is that? That's a 7/16. They should all be English. Yeah, that came off good. I don't think Mercury ever used metric until later. Okay. And one thing I did notice, and I told the owner that this was missing, was a jet right here. This jet was missing on all three carburetors. So I'm not sure why they took those out, but that's to allow that bowl to breathe properly. You get too much air in there, I think that creates problems. So I'm not sure what kind of problems. I'm not an engineer, but I don't know how they design these things, but too much air in anything is not good, especially in a carburetor. So those jets help monitor, the amount of air going into it. Okay, now this last one here, I think I'm going to put that back in the vise. Yeah, that's tight. I'm going to use the impact driver on that. So I'll do that. Yeah, that worked out nicely. That's part of that Venturi tube. I don't know if I want to take that out or not. I think as long as we clean the orifices in here, we soak it good, I think it'll be okay to soak that. The plastics you're not supposed to soak, but I've soaked them before with these Venturi tubes, and it's not done any damage to them. But I just want to make sure that port was open. That port was open down there. Yeah, if you look close, I think you can see it down in there. Right there, you can see that jet pretty plainly. Well, I'm going to have to go see if I can look for a screwdriver or grind one down that can get in there. Okay, so what I did, I ended up grinding down another screwdriver. Those didn't work, but I did have this one. I ground this one just a little bit on each side, and I was able to get that screwdriver down in there, and I got the jet out. So, and it was not clogged. I could see right through it, but that particular jet is if I can read it, maybe I better read it on the camera more so than my own vision, but let's see. I don't know if you folks can see that or not. Hard for me to read it. My vision is going kaput. There's the holes I was looking for. There are some holes in there, and if you look down right there, you can see them right there. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little holes, and we'll make sure those are all cleaned out. I'm going to just soak it the way it is right now. I'll suspend it or put it in the basket and suspend it like this and just let it soak. Come back in a few hours and actually there's a little bucket in here, but I'm going to move that over and just stick this one in there. All right. And we'll take this and we'll put that in there as well. I'll take the seat and the jet and the caps, the needle, all the metal parts that I've got here. Maybe with the exception of the screws and that little deal there. And I'll put that in there like that. Okay, that's carburetor number 1. We'll see how that turns out. Maybe at this time I'll start taking the number 2 carburetor apart. Carb. Basically the exact same thing as the first one. That would be a jet, but it's not. Okay. These bowl plugs, they have washers on them that need replaced. So that came with the gasket. I didn't see one on the other one. Might be why it was leaking. I'll have to revisit that. But okay. I see another screw here too. I wonder. I want to take a look. I want to take a look at the other one. Didn't see that one. This screw here. Where did I see it? Here on the other one. There might be one on here, but let me see because that might be why these are different. Let's see. Where did I see it now? Oh, there it is. Okay. Well, that does have one on here, right here, and that one's been defaced as well. It looks like somebody's trying to get that out and couldn't get it out. So I'm going to try and pull that out with the pneumatic or whatever they call that screwdriver with the. Oh my goodness, my memory, the impact driver. Let's see if we can't get this out of here. Oh man, my memory. Let's see. I broke it free. All right. See that jet coming out of there? There she is. That's open too. Now the number on this jet I can read. It's a lot easier to read. It's 0.074 is the size. So that's the size that's got to go in that little hole for the down here inside where the venturi is. It could be I don't know. It looks like it's going into the bowl, so it's probably coming this way. The fuel's probably running this way up through. So that's probably the main jet, high-speed jet. Okay, that was easy to get out. It was just that top carburetor I had a problem with so far. Just take a look in there, make sure there's nothing in there. I don't see any jets in there or anything, so it's just a cap. Okay, so that one's ready to be soaked. Did I get everything off of there? Yes, I did. Okay. See another thread hole here, but I'm not sure what that's for. Let me take a look at the other carburetor. The one we didn't mess with yet. This would be the bottom one. Oh, yeah, that's missing. It's got a threaded hole there too. I've got to look these up and see if there's anything that goes in those. Very strange. It's threaded, but there's no plug, no cap for them. So I got to look those up and see because I can see that is wide open there, and wide open here. So this could be part of the problem. But they were leaking out. So all right. Well, when this is done, I'm going to put this in here and soak it. Pull these out and clean them off and burn out and put them back together. But I got to make some measurements on here. Make sure that the needle and seat are adjusted properly for the float. Just make sure my dimensions are right, and then maybe what I'll do is I'll reference a snapshot from the book, from the Select manual, to show you a basic dimension for these, and you'll see that soon. So okay, so stay tuned. Okay, what I wanted to share with you, according to the Select manual, this is for outboards 1965 to 89. This is not quite the manual to use for this particular motor, but it does have that same carburetor A. I'm pretty sure these carburetors are A's because it doesn't match anything else in this book. But these are for smaller engines, but they use the same design or pretty close to it. So if you see the float here, the spring has got to be 3/32 distance. And it does say, let's see, looking where it talks about it. Maybe on this page here. Talks about the Welsh plug. Float lever adjustments. That's also important. You can see that when it's upside down, you're supposed to have a straight edge across to make sure that it's level, that the primary, or I'm sorry, the secondary lever is straight, and that the primary lever that's underneath, or really on top when it's inverted, that's touching the needle right here, is 13/32 is what that's showing for a height on the right side. But and then that talks about when you turn it upside down, there's got to be a 1/4 inch here from the primary lever to the secondary lever, and you bend that tab on the right where it's showing to adjust. So let's see here. This carburetor is very close. This does not have a built-in filter for it, but it is very similar. Let's see. Make sure inspect the tape protection. You don't want to see a groove. This is just showing a groove right here, and you don't want to see that on your needle and seat, or your mixture needle when you're pulling it out. We didn't see that at all. So it says most of the parts should be replaced, but I think that's overkill. But unless they're damaged or abused. Well, anyway, it doesn't really talk much about the float drop adjustment, but it shows you the float's got to be 3/32. So we'll measure that, and we'll make sure that we're on board with all 3 carburetors. Okay, the decimal equivalent of 3/32 is 0.0975. I've got it at 0.0980. I'm just going to try and bring it down. There we are, 0.0975. I'm going to lock that down. I'll lock that down now. What we've got to do is take a look at this spring and see. All right, you can see maximum distance on this. If I could just zoom in. Come on now. Well, that meets spec anyway. I don't know if you can see that, but it meets spec. The spring is well under that 0.0975 or 3/32 of an inch for both top and middle. So, and I just want to go back in the book where it says, I want to see what it says, if I can find it. Okay, it says, check to be sure the float spring has not been stretched. If any part of the float is damaged, the unit must be replaced. Check the float arm needle. Let's see. It just says check to be sure that the float spring has not been stretched. So at 3/32, that's probably the maximum amount of distance it should be. So these are both under that. So I'm going to consider these good. They're actually well under the 3/32, or 0.0975. And I'll do the same for the bottom carburetor. Just haven't had I haven't gotten them apart yet. So this was for the middle. This one is for the top. I'll put them back in their designated bags. So now, knowing that, I'm going to pull this one out. This is the top carb. It's been a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours now since it's been soaking. Okay. Put that back there. Drain that out as much as we can. Okay, I'm just going to spray it down now with some carb cleaner. I think I'll spray it into the empty one, or near empty. This has got the middle carburetor in it. We'll just spray this. Once over. We'll let that sit there for a minute. Do the same for here. I think that carburetor is ready for reassembly. Okay, so for now I'm not going to put the gasket in because we're going to probably do that during the reassembly right at the boat. Because we had, when we disassembled the carburetors from the boat, we had to take these out, take this right off of there. So I'm going to put the needle and seat back in, of course, and then put it back on. I wonder what my eyes must be going. Put the wrong one in. Okay. All right. The needle goes in. Well, they recommend a drop of oil. I'm going to put a little WD-40 in this, just on the needle. That'll give it a little bit of lubrication so she won't stick. Okay, the splines are on this side, so you want to make sure that the pin goes in the proper direction. So the splines of the pin are here, and the splines on the inside of the shaft or the post. Now before I secure that, I'm going to measure it. And we're going to say 0.25 is a 1/4 inch. So that looks exactly right. It's right on the money. I don't know if I can do this while we're. So that's a 1/4 inch, 0.25. So we're good. That adjustment is okay. I'm going to tighten that very tight. Just cinch it down. Like I said, we're going to take this apart again when we go to assemble it on the boat, on the motor itself. So, the cap goes here. I wonder, did I forget to put the, yeah, I got to put the jet in there. That would be this. That would be this little jet here. I'm just going to spray that real quick just to make sure we have no contamination in it. I'm going to drop that in there, like so. There it goes. This is the bowl drain plug here. And I'll put a new gasket on that later. I think that's pretty much it, except for the mixture screw. So that's the important part. When we put that in, that was the top screw. So we were at the top carb. We were at about, what I remember was about 1 o'clock. So we're going to go lightly seated and then back it off 1.5 or so. Okay, lightly seated. We're going to go 1/2, 1, and 1/2. So that was actually about 11 o'clock. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave it. I'm going to put this all back. Now, I don't know if you wanted to get new hoses, but that hose can go back on here. And that carburetor is done. So we just got to do that 2 more times. and then reassemble it onto the motor. Okay, so I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to quit filming and then maybe do the rest of these off camera, and then we'll bring it back to the boat, and maybe we can show you putting them back on the boat, so on the motor. So, all right.